Hi Taurus, welcome to your February 2020 Astrology 33 reading. Thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you interested in booking a personal reading with me, just check out the description of the video for more information there. As far as what we have in front of us, we have a Celtic cross spread, and as always, and then we also have a couple of oracle cards that we'll take a look at, and a mudra card. So, getting started with the main spread. The main situation position, we have the Two of Swords. So this is actually a Libra energy, which for you guys is your 6th house. So this could just be saying that for some of you, maybe you have 2 different job offers on the table right now, and you're trying to decide which of those 2 to go with. And this could just be regarding any area of life as well. But basically the main energy that I'm getting here is that you're trying to make a decision based more or less strictly on logic, because with the water in the background and the moon, both of those can symbolize emotions, and she has her back turned to those, and then she has her arms crossed, which represents that her heart is being closed as well, and then she has the blindfolds. So this could just be saying that you're trying to make a decision strictly based on logic, not letting emotions get in the way. So, for example, maybe you're trying to possibly look at another job, right? But maybe you have some emotional connections with some of the people you work with, right? And maybe you're like, all right, well, I don't want that to get in the way of my decision. I just want to make a decision that's strictly based on what's best for me, right? Could be one of those types of scenarios. For others of you, this could just be saying that in general. You could just be trying to take some time to yourself, have some quiet time for reflection, and that could be around any area of life. In the challenger obstacle position, we have the Sun card, so this could be playing out a few different ways. For one, I will say that even though this isn't technically the major arcana card for Leo, this since Leo's ruled by the Sun, it makes me think of Leo energy, and you guys are going to have a full moon in your 4th house in February, which is the sign of Leo. So for some of you, if it is regarding a job situation, it could be that you might realize that maybe one of those options would require you to move. And maybe that's why you're trying to take the emotion out of it, because you're like, okay, well, I could stay here where I have friends and family, or I could take this amazing opportunity that would require me to move, right? So maybe that's what you're trying to weigh the options between. For others of you, this could just be pointing to the fact as well that you want some quiet and some solitude, but maybe everything in your environment, could be encouraging you to be busy. Maybe people are demanding on your time, for example, because you guys just had a full moon. At the time I'm recording this anyway, we had a full moon in Cancer recently, which is your 3rd house of communication. And there's all different kinds of things going on in your 9th house as well. So, there could be some noise in your general vicinity. And then, of course, when we get into Aquarius season, which, a pretty good portion of February is going to be Aquarius season, that's going to have a lot of activity going on in your 10th house too. So that's your career and social status. So it could be one of those things where you're just looking for some peace and quiet, maybe to make some decisions, and everything around you could be a bit too busy, too chaotic to where you can't really get out there and, have that peace and quiet. For others of you, this could actually be saying that maybe that's the challenge. For those of you maybe where you have been, stuck in your head for a little bit too long and still feel like you're not able to make the decision, this could be coming up in a challenge position to say that the challenge might be that you do need to get back out there, maybe to help free your mind up a bit, take your mind off of things, and then you could come back to it feeling refreshed, and maybe you'll be able to make a decision a little bit easier. That can happen sometimes. Sometimes when we sit with a problem for too long and we're just not coming up with an answer, you might step away from it for a little bit, come back, and then all of a sudden the answer seems to come to you out of the blue, right? So that could be how it's playing out for some of you anyway. In the foundation position, we have the 3 of Swords. So this is more Libra energy here. So with this in the foundation, this could just be showing why you're in that type of 2 of Swords energy where you're not trying to make any rash decisions. It could be saying that you've recently experienced some kind of a disappointment or heartbreak. So that might be why you're trying to take your time as far as making a decision. Now, given that we're going to have Mercury retrograde in February as well, this could be as simple as maybe this could even be an ex of yours that's coming back around. Possibly a fire sign, but it could be any sign. And maybe, in the past, you guys might have had a pretty harsh breakup. So that's why you're weighing the options, right? They could be coming back around saying, hey, let's get back together. And maybe they're trying to come forward with this light, playful mood, right? Meanwhile, you're still thinking about the way things might have gone in the past. So maybe you still do have the attraction, but you're like, yeah, really weighing your options because you're like, all right, things ended pretty poorly in the past. So I don't know if I want to go back down that road, right? And again, for others of you, this could be around in the other area where maybe if you had a similar decision in the past regarding whatever area of life this may be pertaining to, you might feel, okay, well, in the past I made the wrong decision, ended up like this. So now you're a little bit gun shy about making that same type of mistake this time. In the past position, we have the Three of Pentacles. So this is actually a Capricorn energy, represents the middle 10 degrees of Capricorn. So for some of you, this could just be pointing back to that first week of January, give or take a couple days on either side of that. As far as maybe when you're really focusing on stability. So for example, maybe you set some resolutions for yourself, right? A lot of people do that. Like, okay, these are the goals that I have for the year. And now maybe it's just a matter of you set some goals for yourself to make your life more stable, more pleasing, but now you're trying to figure out how best to go about that. And that could be where the Two of Swords energy is coming from. And for those of you, if this is a relationship thing, this could just be saying that it was probably a relationship where you were building something stable, and for whatever reason, it might have just gone off the rails. In the present position, we have the Hermit, the King of Wands, and the Four of Wands. So interesting energies here. This is actually the major arcana card for Virgo. This is the court card for Leo, and then this is actually Aries energy. So seeing these cards come up together, given that Virgo is the natural ruler of the 6th house, this can just be pointing to work again for some of you, and possibly even maybe a promotion that you could potentially get with the King of Wands showing up here, which you feel would obviously bring you more stability, right, and happiness as far as that goes. For those of you, if this is around a relationship as well, though, this is another indicator that you guys might be dealing with a fire sign, and probably a Leo if that is the case. That again, maybe they're trying to propose to you, well, maybe not literally propose, but they're trying to, come to you with an idea of, hey, let's get back together, right? And you're really trying to weigh those options because the Hermit is a solitude energy where, you really tend to reflect, try to think things through. So similar to the Two of Swords. So we see more of that same energy along with the Sun and then the Leo energy we see here. So this could just be you really weighing your options and deciding if you want to go down that road with this person. And again, like I said, they might be presenting it with a lot more of an optimistic attitude than you. And like I said, that could be because, for example, in the past, maybe you were the ones that ended up more heartbroken when things went south in the past. So you're a little bit more hesitant to go back down that road, whereas they might be taking a much more light attitude towards the situation. In the near future position, we have the Seven of Cups, the Fool, and the Four of Cups. So interesting energies here. The Seven of Cups can just be saying that you might have a lot of different options, and again, not necessarily feeling like you're seeing them clearly, and that could be why you're hesitant to act. So like I said, for some of you, this could be, do I move or do I stay where I'm at now? Do I take job A or do I take job B, right? And that could just be saying because of that, you're fearful of taking that leap of faith because you feel like, all right, well, what if you make that leap of faith and then you end up disappointed with the choice that you make, right? This is actually Cancer energy too. And you guys just had that full moon in those, well, basically this represents the last 10 degrees of Cancer, and that's where that full moon eclipse took place, which is your house of communication too. So for some of you, this could even be saying that maybe if this is more of a dating situation, maybe you have a lot of other options around you and you do have one person in mind, then this could be what this is about too. But maybe for whatever reason, you're hesitant to reach out to them. And it could just be saying because of that, because you're hesitant to reach out and to communicate to them, you feel like you're stuck with these options that you don't like. So that's how it could be playing out for some of you as well. I'll see if anything else comes to mind with these cards. And, again, this could just be one of those things, too, where, like I said, you might be reflecting on a past situation where maybe you did take that leap of faith. And then you might have felt like you were rejected or like the situation didn't work out. So, because of that, you're really fearful of taking that chance again. In the position of your influence on a situation, we have the Ten of Pentacles. So, this is actually a Virgo energy, which is your fifth house of love and romance. But given that we see the Virgo energy there too, it's also possible some of you guys could be dealing with Virgo, possibly even a Leo that has both Leo and Virgo placements, which would be pretty common. But mainly what I'm seeing with this is saying that you're, at the very least, you want stability. You're willing to bring that to the table. And could just be saying that that's really what you're focused on. So, again, going back to the romantic scenario, right? Maybe that's where your mind is, and maybe you feel like with the Sun card having the child on the horse, maybe you feel like, maybe this person might have a bit more of a playful, nonchalant attitude towards relationships, whereas you're more serious and you're about commitment. So you might feel like, all right, well, I don't know if I want to get into a connection with this person, because you might feel like they wouldn't take the connection as seriously as you do. You know what I mean? So that could be what it is, where you feel like it'd be difficult for the two of you to get on the same page. And I can see where that can make sense as far as any type of earth sign and fire sign connection. You know what I mean? There could be that contrast of energies. And again, with work as well, like I said, maybe that's what you're either aiming for, or maybe you're hesitant to leave a job behind because you feel like you have a certain level of stability, but maybe you feel like you'd be happier going somewhere else. You know what I mean? So it could be one of those things where you're like, all right, financially, I'm very satisfied here, but this other opportunity I have, for example, maybe they have more perks, maybe they have better hours, or it's in a better location, right? With the Sun card, maybe it's saying, you might have better weather where you would move, but you're like, okay, but I might have to give up a little financial stability in order to do so. So that could be how that's playing out there. In the environment position, we have the Emperor and the Nine of Swords. So this is more Aries energy here. So that's your 12th house too. And we're actually going to have your ruler, which is Venus, moving into the sign of Aries in February. So maybe that could just be saying that might give you a lot of anxiety, that transit, have you feeling a bit stuck in your head, maybe losing some sleep. Or this might even be someone that, could be someone, again, where if you're the ones who really have someone you're interested in that you want to make a love offer to, maybe you're intimidated by them. So, because of that, when you think about, okay, I'm going to go reach out to this person, I'm going to talk to this person, you might really get a little bit paranoid and think, oh, okay, what if I make an idiot of myself or something like that, because they might come across pretty strict and closed off. And again, we see more fire energy here. So like I said, if this is a romantic relationship for a lot of you, I feel like this is definitely going to be with a fire sign. I mean, we've seen some Leo indicators, now we see Aries energy, but either way, it's definitely a lot of fire energy. So, and then maybe this is a boss that you find intimidating as well. So even if it's a discussion where you want to discuss a pay raise, for example, maybe you feel like, all right, well, I don't know if I can, actually sit down and ask them that, right? So maybe every time you try to approach them about the subject, you might back down. So just a few things that come to mind. And keep in mind, too, if this is one person, too, though, this could just be saying on the surface, this might be the image that they present, but beneath the surface, this could be how they're feeling, you know what I mean? So just something to keep in mind there. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Strength card and the Two of Cups. So I'm going to assume that these are hopes. So yeah, for some of you, this can just be another indicator, because this is a major arcana card of Leo. Could be another indicator that some of you actually do want to reconcile with a Leo from your past. Now, to be fair, I suppose, for some of you, like I said, if it was a connection with them, and maybe they might have broken your heart in the past. Maybe there is fear around that, right? Where you're fearful because maybe you still have that attraction, and they could be charismatic and pull you back in, but you're worried to go back down that road again with them because, again, you might feel like it'll end up that way, right? But for others of you too, this could just be saying in general that they're hoping to embody this energy of strength, that they, that courage and that ability to just come out and actually make an offer to someone that you do actually have feelings for. So that could be what's at play here too. Like I said, it could be that you're just stuck in your head about making an offer to someone. So maybe that's what's at play there. All right. In the outcome position, we have the Tower, the Chariot, and the Hierophant. So really interesting mixture of energies here, and we can't overlook the fact that it's 3 major arcana cards in the outcomes. That's a pretty major thing, but with these particular cards, I would say the Tower could just be saying that something could force your hand in some way. Now, I don't mean that to sound intimidating, but as far as, maybe, for example, you're sitting there trying to make a decision about something, and then maybe something takes place to where you're actually forced to move one way or the other. Now, I'm not saying physically move, but forced to make a move in some way is what I mean. So maybe with one of the job offers, for example, maybe one of those options gets taken away, right? And then maybe that could be what the Three of Swords is saying there too with the Sun and the challenge, which is to say, if you've really been stuck in your head for a long time about a decision, the Sun could be saying in the challenge position that you need to take some action soon because you might lose that opportunity. And then you end up disappointed because you ended up taking too long to make up your mind. So that's one way I could see these energies playing out. So maybe you might even come to that realization, like maybe you hear from someone else that, they might be offering a job to so and so, right? Like if it's in the same office, but it's just a promotion within your company. So that might actually force you to move. But if that's the case with the Hierophant showing up at the bottom of those 3 cards, that's actually the major arcana card of your sign. So it looks like it's saying that whatever decision is made, you're actually going to end up being true to yourself at the end of the day. So, while we usually do see the Tower and start to panic, with this particular combination, especially seeing 2 positive cards underneath it, it leads me to believe that eventually, things might end up turning out in your favor anyway. But, like we always say with the Tower, though, you'd rather take the action yourself than have the universe do it for you, right? Because it could definitely be more of a shock to the system that way. But yeah, like I said, given that these are 2 pretty supportive cards underneath it, it looks like it would turn out in your favor. Now, I do have to say, too, given that we see the Chariot here, which is the major arcana card for Cancer, this might even be saying that some of you might have already experienced a Tower moment around that full moon eclipse in Cancer, which is your 3rd house of communication. And maybe that got you back in tune with yourself, you know what I mean? Where maybe it gave you some kind of realization. And now that's, what's propelling you forward in some way. So something to keep in mind there. And I almost forgot to mention at the bottom of the deck, we have the 9 of Wands, and he's looking towards the Hermit. So that could definitely say that, whatever this is regarding, like I said, for some of you, it could be a fire sign that might be coming back around and offering a stable connection with you. And you're really looking it over, like trying to think to yourself, should I do it? Should I not do it? It looks like there's definitely some hesitation on your part. And like I said, for some of you, if that's around moving as well, you could really be trying to weigh those options. And, given that we'll have that new moon, at the time I'm recording this, the new moon in Aquarius hasn't happened yet. So we'll have a new moon in your house of career and social status. That's going to be square Uranus, which is in your sign. So there could be, maybe in a way that could be that Tower type moment there. You know what I mean? And then that might be where you really might have to make a decision. Okay, well, I'm going to make this move or not. And then with the full moon in your 4th house, for some of you, that could mean physically actually moving from one place to another too. So hopefully that made sense. But yeah, moving on to the oracle cards. First, we have Milk and Honey. Trying to get it to focus. Alright, well yeah, it won't cooperate with focusing right now, but there's the artwork for it, and the number is 51. So let's see what that has to say. Okay, it says the taste of prosperity, opportunities born of authenticity, nurturing abundance, trusting that your needs will be met. The Oracle's message: you've entered a sweet time in your life, enjoying the land of milk and honey that everyone wants to experience. It's an interlude that it feels more languid than ambitious, when all your senses are awake to the unlimited possibilities in the universe. These times are precious and only come when you're in your authentic zone, wearing the world as a loose garment, not wanting, yet able to be nourished in ways both tangible and subtle. Abundance is an energy that you are a living part of. All your needs are being met. You are given the gift of nourishment in every form. So definitely a pretty positive message there. Hopefully that resonated with you guys. The relationship message says sensuality, connection, and passionate romance between lovers, sweet moments of understanding, and love among friends and family are all here for you to savor now. Your heart's calling will be answered. Let your thoughts and feelings be sweet with gratitude, and you will be nourished with the honey of abundance. So, I mean, that sounds pretty positive too for those of you, like I said, where maybe you are, a little bit worried about making an offer to someone. And now when I'm thinking back, I think your title for last month's video was hesitation around communication. So maybe it's a continuation of that same energy too. The prosperity message says there is only one authentic you. This version of yourself is Spirit's emissary in the world. When you're in alignment with the truth that you are a unique expression of the divine, your ego can rest and your soul can illuminate your purpose. Now is the time when you're seeking your true north. When you find this direction, you automatically step into prosperity, and the world brings you evidence of abundance. Miracles are a choice and a way of seeing the world. With every choice you make right now, you have the potential to seize good fortune and embrace your destiny. Opportunities will lead you to your best life now. Be open to them. You're getting a sweet taste of what you want. So that definitely sounds like a pretty positive message for you, for those of you where this is regarding finances as well, and hopefully that, helps encourage you a bit as far as trying to make some kind of a decision. But next we'll move on to the card you got from the Spirit Animal Oracle, and that's Dog Spirit. It says, being loyal to what you love. There's the artwork, and the number is 19. Okay, it says, Dog Spirit appears to remind you that although change is a part of life and all of us are meant to evolve, our love and commitments remain strong. You are loved now and can trust that this higher love is true. Spirit loves you, and love has arrived in many forms now, manifesting in the people you surround yourself with, expressed uniquely through them. Dog Spirit also says, be true to what you love, for now is a time of good fortune. Be steady as you recognize that people and things are always transforming. Your heart is loving and true, and Dog Spirit wants you to know that your steadfast commitment to experiencing and expressing love will attract and manifest more love. You deserve all of it. Have faith in Spirit's plan for you. So, definitely a pretty positive message there as well. Hopefully that resonated with you guys. And then the last thing we have is a mudra card. So the mudra that you guys got for this month is the Mushtika mudra. There it is there. And the keyword for it is selflessness. Okay, let's see if we can get this to focus. Yeah, there we go. So if you guys want, you could pause it or take a screenshot to read what it has to say. But it says, weakens ego grasping and self-defeating habits, awakens enlightened attitude and a heart of compassion, reduces anxiety and self-doubt, calms the spirit, clears the mind, benefits the heart and vascular system. So if that sounds like something you think you guys will find beneficial, I will leave the name of that mudra in the description of the video. As always, we'll wrap up there, and I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.